Affinity Photo 2.6 has just been released. Probably the biggest news story is that it now includes AI selection tools. So I thought, why not test them to see how good they are, and let's compare them to Photoshop. But before we can use the new AI tools, we need to download and install the AI model. To do this, open the Affinity Photo settings. On a Mac, this is in the Affinity Photo menu, and on a Windows PC, they're in the Edit menu. In the Settings dialog, we see a new Machine Learning Models option. Click this to go to the AI settings section. Then, in the drop-down at the top, we can choose between using the computer's CPU to do the processing or using the CPU and GPU. Using the CPU and GPU together is going to give you the best performance, but some GPUs may not be 100% compatible. If you see strange results or something isn't working, try switching to using only the CPU. Now, further down, we see the two AI models used by Affinity Photo. The first is the segmentation model. This is what breaks down the image into different segments or parts. This is used by the new object selection tool, which allows us to pick specific areas or objects in an image, like the sky or this cactus. The other option is the saliency model. This is used by the subject selection tool to select the main subject in an image. To install the models so we can use the tools, click the Install button below each. Once installed, you don't need to do this again unless you decide to uninstall the data. After downloading and installing the models, relaunch Affinity Photo. You're then ready to begin using the AI selection tools. Let's start by testing the AI Select Subject option with this cactus image. You'll find the Select Subject option in the Select menu. When we click this, a small dialog appears while the image is being processed. When it's done, we see the selection indicated by the marching ants. Now, my main reaction to this is that the AI has selected the main subject in the image, but it's included part of another cactus in the background. This also doesn't look like a very accurate selection. Let's add a mask to the image for a moment by clicking the mask icon at the bottom of the Layers Studio panel. This hides the part of the image that isn't selected, making it easier to see the selection. We can then zoom in to check the detail. This is showing us that the cactus has been selected, but so too has a lot of the sky around the cactus. It's also selecting part, but not all, of the cactus in the background. Let's delete the mask now and clear the selection to check if the object selection tool is any better. This appears in the Tools palette in the photo persona and shows an owl icon. When selected, we see the options in the toolbar at the top of the interface. First, there are the mode icons where we choose how we want the tool to act. These are to create a new selection, add to an existing selection, subtract from a selection, or intersect with a selection. If you're familiar with the other selection tools in Affinity Photo, you'll immediately recognize these. Let's start by creating a new selection. We also have two other options, which are the multipart and soft edges. I'll come back to these later with specific examples. Finally, there's the Refine button, which we can use to refine and improve the results of the selection. This is an existing feature of Affinity Photo, which appears in the toolbar of many of the selection tools. To use the Object Selection tool, you move the mouse pointer over the object that you want to select. You can see what happens when I move it over the sky in this image. We now see a hash pattern appear, indicating what's going to be selected when we click. If I move the mouse pointer over the main cactus, we then see the pattern appear over that instead. Interestingly, unlike the Select Subject command, this doesn't try to select the other cactuses. What's also interesting is that the selection reacts to where I move the mouse pointer. So, if you don't see the correct selection at first, try moving the mouse pointer around. This can have a big impact on the results. When the selection looks good, click once. Now, let's say that we want to add the other cactus that's in the background to this selection. All we need to do is use the Add mode, which Affinity Photo has already automatically selected. We can then move the mouse pointer over the cactus we want to select and click to add it. Now let's check the results again by adding a new mask to this layer as we did before. If we zoom in, we see the same problem of the blue sky appearing around the spines of the cactus. So while the Object Selection tool has given us more control over the selection, it still isn't perfect. At this point, I may be doing Affinity Photo a disservice with my criticism about its accuracy. So let's compare the results with those from Photoshop. In this first example, we see the selection created by the Select Subject command. The image on the left was produced in Affinity Photo, and the image on the right was edited in Photoshop using the AI Select Subject command. Comparing the two, I can see that Photoshop has produced more accurate detail in some of the areas around the cactus, but not all. Then we see the same problem with Photoshop where the background cactus has been selected. Neither of these results are particularly good in my opinion, but I think Affinity Photo has probably edged it. If I had to score them, I would say 3 out of 10 for Affinity Photo and 2 out of 10 for Photoshop. Now let's compare the AI object selection results with a similar tool in Photoshop. As before, the Affinity Photo selection is on the left and the Photoshop is on the right. Here we can see that Photoshop has done a better job in selecting the detail around the cactus spines. But we only have half a cactus. In fact, it wasn't possible to separate the foreground and background cactus using only the AI tools. If I wanted to do that, I would need to switch to the manual tools, which defeats the purpose of having AI selection. So scoring these results, I would give Affinity Photo 4 out of 10, but Photoshop only 2. Now I did wonder at this point if the soft edges option in Affinity Photo could improve the results, but when I tested it, it didn't seem to. All that it seemed to do is soften the edge of the selection slightly, as you can see in this comparison. This may be useful for blending adjustments into an image, but it doesn't improve the accuracy of the selection. Now, it could be that I've been unfair to Affinity Photo and Photoshop by using a really tricky image of a cactus, so let's try something else. This time we have a group of people around a table, and we'll use the Object Selection tool in Affinity Photo first. With this image, the tool makes a reasonable selection of the different people. If we were to compare this with the Object Selection tool in Photoshop, we see that the results there just aren't as good because it doesn't separate the individuals. Often we have parts missing, and in some cases it isn't possible to select areas at all, like this woman's leg. Photoshop just doesn't see the leg as part of the woman's body. But in Affinity Photo, we don't seem to have this problem. This is also where the multi-part selection option helps in Affinity Photo. When I use that with the tool to select the man on the left, we see that it also recognises one of his legs below the table. This is what multi-part does. It also makes it easier to select all of the man, where in Photoshop we just can't do it. The object selection tools there just aren't recognising and selecting the different body parts correctly. Now, despite the better performance of Affinity Photo here, none of the selections are particularly accurate, and we see fringing around a lot of the edges. If I was to mark these results, I would give Photoshop a 3 out of 10 and Affinity Photo probably 6 out of 10. Now for one more example using this image of a church. Here's what happens when we use the Select Subject option. The image on the left is Affinity Photos and the image on the right was done with Photoshop. Photoshop seems to have selected the building more accurately and including more of the building details like the crosses on the spires. I think this is a win for Photoshop and I would score it 2 out of 10 for Affinity Photo and 4 out of 10 for Photoshop. The results though are a little bit better if we use the object selection tools. Here we see a reasonably good selection from Photoshop on the right, which includes finer detail around the building. But in the Affinity Photo selection, we see that details are missing. Scoring these selections, I would give Affinity Photo a 5 and Photoshop a 7. And if you think I'm scoring these results harshly, it's because I also spent time with both images using the AI tools multiple times. In short, These aren't point-and-click results, which is what we really want from any AI tools. Overall, my opinion is that the object selection tool in Affinity Photo is slightly ahead of the tools in Photoshop, but neither is very good. And if you think I'm being too critical, here's what I achieved in less than 1 minute using only the Flood Select and Selection Brush tools in Affinity Photo. This was quicker and far more accurate than the AI tools. If you want to know how to do this for yourself, see my book How to Select It. I'll include a link to it in the YouTube video description. And if you want to see another example of what's possible using only the basic selection tools in Affinity Photo, watch this video next. Thanks for watching today, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you soon for another video.